Ronaldo.
A very good evening. Many thanks for joining me. This is ITV News at 11 p.m. I am Oguchukwu Bamidele. I do remember Lassa fever is real, and so ensure the environment is clean and rodent-free in order not to fall victim. The Federal Executive Council has described the foreign trips embarked upon by President Muhammadu Buhari as not only necessary, but critical to the nation's quest for economic emancipation, infrastructural development, and poverty alleviation. The Minister of Environment, Amina Mohammed, announced this while briefing newsmen at the end of the council meeting presided over by President Buhari. The meeting, which lasted for over 3 hours, analyzed the impact of the president's foreign engagements and governance.
Because of the issues of corruption and insecurity, don't underestimate how much of a barrier that is. Without the president going out there with his team to underscore the efforts he is making at home, we are not likely to get those investments at scale. They will trickle in, they won't come in at the level we need them to come into. It's important that we regain where we are in the world economy today, and that we're going out there and we are showing what we're doing as well as trying to bring it back. And I think concretely we are beginning to bring back those investments.
I believe we have a responsibility to let Nigerians who have been complaining about the various trips of Mr. President to know that this is what was achieved, this is what was discussed there. And I think that is important for Nigerians.
Edo State Governor Comrade Adams Oshiomhole has advised motorists in Benin not to obey officials of the State Traffic Management Agency as the body remains disbanded. The governor, who said the agency has been operating illegally, disclosed that the state government will set up a monitoring body to arrest anyone parading himself or herself as ETSMA official. Christy Macaulay reports that Governor Oshiomhole paid an unscheduled visit to ETSMA office on Sapele Road, Benin City.
So I have warned everybody. So all of you wearing this ETSMA uniform, go in now and remove them. Go remove them.
Governor Adams Oshiomhole, acting on a tip-off and complaints by residents, went on a fact-finding mission beginning from 3rd Junction, where he accosted some ETSMA officials on duty.
Where your ID card? Who employ you?
From there, the governor and some members of the State Executive Council proceeded to ETSMA's office, situated in the premises of the State Ministry of Works, where he met some vehicle owners whose vehicles have been impounded.
Actually driving in from Aso line, they now impounded a jeep on the lane I was meant to pass. So logically, I had to pass the next lane. So they stood in front of me, madam, you passed one way.
This I just they drop people by specialists who is not well. They seize me, they search. They booked me some of 15,000.
The governor thereafter ordered the release of the vehicles.
Until now, I was accusing him of complicity. I thought he had a hand in what they were doing. His stand is vindicated by his action.
I was even thinking I'm going out to borrow money to see that I can come and carry my car. But I had a call that Oshiomhole is here freeing everybody. And so lucky the governor came to my rescue.
Their uniforms and documents were confiscated while some officials were arrested. Governor Oshiomhole, who said the officials have been operating illegally, urged the residents to report to the police if they return to the streets.
Just go and put on a t-shirt, unauthorized, unemployed. They just take over strategic streets and extorting money from members of the public. Whether you are guilty or not guilty, they take you to this place, issue fake receipts. So I want to once again publicly announce that these men called ETSMA, they have since been disbanded. They have no business on the road.
The state government set up the Traffic Management Agency in 2009, and their activities since then have left sour taste in the mouth of residents. Christy Macaulay reporting.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says the realization of the country's visa policy, improvement of infrastructure, and making it attractive at various tourist sites will reposition the country. The minister stated this at a budget defense before the House of Representatives Committee on Culture and Tourism in Abuja. Rosalind Worame has details.
The minister, who stressed on the need for improvements of infrastructure at the country's airports and training of security officials to be tourist-friendly, said the focus of this year's budget is to see how they can harness culture and tourism.
First point in tourism, especially if you are talking about, foreign tourism, international tourism, is the application and obtaining of visas to visit your country. Provide tools, both modern and traditional, for at least 12 states scattered all over the 6 geopolitical zones, so that we can create jobs, we can create a new economy for our people.
Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Culture and Tourism, Omoyege Ogbede Ihama, observed some errors on the first column of the budget defense, which he insisted must be corrected.
Key issue we must have behind our mind is that the budget has to work. Nigerians must benefit what they deserve, which is democracy.
The committee chairman also stated the committee's resolve to collaborate with the ministry to provide workable solutions on how the nation can benefit from tourism. Rosalind Eworami reporting.
A federal high court sitting in Lagos has dismissed a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by a former Minister of Aviation, Stella Odua, against the Attorney General of the Federation and 3 others. Justice Okong Abeng, who dismissed Stella Odua's suit for want of jurisdiction today, ordered her to pay a cost of 15,000 naira to the Attorney General of the Federation. Stella Odua had filed the suit in August last year, praying the courts to restrain agencies of the federal government from questioning or prosecuting her over the purchase of 2 armored BMW vehicles at a cost of 255 million naira by the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority under her watch as the aviation minister in 2013. In her suit, Stella Odua claimed to have already been probed and exonerated by the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and urged Justice Abeng to declare that any further probe would amount to violating her fundamental rights. She alleged that the ruling All Progressives Congress intended to use the respondents to prosecute her, being a prominent member of the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP. She begged the court to restrain the respondents from unleashing repression against her. And some members of the public in Benin have called on Edo State government to channel the funds realized from social activities in public schools, primary and secondary, to improve their infrastructure. The respondents said this social event also affects sporting activities in public schools. Kingsley Uchebu has details.
Every weekend, public schools in parts of Benin City play host to social activities, of which organizers are said to pay between 15 and 25,000 naira to use the fields and other facilities. This development has affected sports and other recreational activities, as the fields are not maintained by the state government after the payment. Some respondents who expressed divergent views on the development said the implication of converting public school fields into event centers can be attributed to dwindling grassroots sports development, while others said the innovation is a platform for government to generate revenue to improve the education sector.
If you check the fields, even in the various schools where they are now holding parties, there are no grass on the ground. And I wonder why they will subject such to parties, where they now hold parties. The purpose for which the school fields were created have been defeated. No more school sports. And then how do you make these children to grow up to be strong?
It's a way of raising money to at least to maintain the school and do some other things in, around, because government needs money actually to develop, to run the school properly. You find that the grass, that field were made for sports activities, And right now, some of those things are gradually wearing away, and it's not good.
These days, Edo State has gone down in terms of sports, and we are not doing well. In a situation whereby they are supposed to be training or playing matches on this field, it is being used as an event center to raise funds. Then what about the sports? To the detriment of the game.
Edo State Commissioner for Education, Mr. Gideon Obakan, said the position of the state government using public school fields to boost internally generated revenue should not be misinterpreted to underdeveloping sports, as events, which usually holds on weekends, do not affect sporting activities in public schools.
There are no schools where you have events being done during school hours and preventing students from doing their job. It forms part of the internally generated revenue which goes into the government coffers. Development of the state government is obvious, and the red roofs that we see every day comes from revenues that are generated in this manner.
A visit to some public schools, usually used for social events, which include Olua, Owina, and Mokbai schools, shows absence of grasses in the fields, which the respondent said can be transformed with money generated from the fields. Kingsley Uchebu reporting.
A motorist plying the Oluku Benin Lagos Express Road have expressed concern over the erection of speed brakes on the road. Adeswalato quotes the motorists as saying that the speed brakes are having negative impacts on their vehicles occasioned by damages suffered.
Motorists lamented that the speed brake recently erected on the road appears to be doing damage to the vehicles due to the high level of the bumps. They said there are no caution signs displayed to serve as warning that speed brakes are ahead in order to help them take caution while approaching the spots. They pointed out that the continuous driving through the road will cause damages on their vehicles.
As you can see, the speed limit as a day express, so not be saying no good, it's good, but too high. And it spoil motor. Most of us, when they use car, they walk. And I manage our motor. Most of us, they spoil our motor. And if you see the express, so you know, good make this thing there. And when this thing there, so it's supposed at least the street light and it's supposed to make light. See there.
There's some in within which is too high, more than others.
It's bad. It's destroying vehicle. So we don't need it. We don't need it.
So ever since they put this speed breaker so, and again, the reason why they put the speed breaker, they put them because of all those 7-up. Same motor to the run, enter, but the way they can't do it, come over SS. And since when they can't do it now, police can't they make use of and they disturb us for the road well. Then both road safety also, we know at times since it's supposed now they come out because of semi road safety for come out for the speed break. When I do this road now, we don't get pace for the road. But some motorway no even know say the speed break. So now God say the save them. So go run with passenger. You all run meet and once.
Attempts to reach the Commissioner for Transport, Iruogbe Isimeme, for comments on whether or not the ministry was duly informed before the erection of the speed brakes on the express road was unsuccessful, as it was said to be in an official meeting. Adesuwa Lato reporting.
Ondo State Governor Dr. Olusegun Mimiko has urged the Nigerian police to, as a matter of urgency, tackle frequent clashes between Fulani herdsmen and their host communities in the country. Governor Mimiko made the remark during a courtesy visit by the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, to Governor Mimiko in Akure. The report filed by Ondo State correspondent Omorowa Jonah is presented once more by Roslyn Ewurame.
Governor Olusegun Mimiko said that the frequent clashes between Fulani herdsmen and their host communities should be tackled headlong before it degenerates into a serious security threat. He commended the effective manner demonstrated by the police in apprehending the killers of late Professor Albert Ilemobade and Chief Olu Falaye's abductors.
One of the good things about your men here is there's no tough protection or tough battle between the agencies. They just work together. That synergy has been the secret of the peace that we enjoy in this place. SSS provides intelligence, they act on it. At times when they need extra physical force on ground, they contact the military, we're working together.
Earlier, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, who thanked Governor Mimiko for his support to Ondo State Command, sought government's more support for effective policing. He said the force will continue to provide adequate security for the citizenry as demonstrated by the force in the past, particularly the recent apprehension of Chief Olu Falaye's abductors.
Most of the challenges that we face cannot be handled, solely by the federal government. And if you have a state where security is not guaranteed, then definitely foreign direct investment or whatever investment or social economic development will not thrive. And Ondo State has been one of those states that have blazed the trail in terms of providing the dividends of democracy.
The visit was part of familiarization tour of the Inspector General of Police to various state commands across the country with a view to discussing with officers and men of the force on how best to tackle crimes, particularly in the area of intelligence gathering and community relations partnership. Meanwhile, Mr. Arase used the visit to address the Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa communities residing in Akure at the police officers' mess on the need to ensure peace and security in the states. Roslyn Eworami reporting.
Still staying with the police back home in Edo State, the State Police Command says the woman that stabbed her pregnant neighbor to death at number 23 Yamu Street of Textile Mill Road, Benin City, has been charged to court for murder. Patience Hussein Wabo reports that the police public relations officer, DSP Abiodun Osifo, disclosed this while fielding questions from newsmen. Ikmawosa Ogiagbe has details.
Giving an update on the extent of investigation, the police public relations officer DSP Abiodun Osifo said the woman who stabbed her pregnant neighbor to death at number 23 Iyamu Street off Tesai Mill Road, Benin, has been charged for murder. He emphasized that if found guilty, the capital punishment will serve as a deterrent to anyone who engaged in taking the lives of others, and called on members of the public to always give useful information to the police to track down criminal activities.
The suspect has been charged to court accordingly, and she was duly remanded in prison custody because it's a capital offense. The case of murder is not to be toyed with. The necessary investigation inquiries have been done. Pathologist has examined the corpse. The expert opinion has made up his report. It's our own to continue with prosecution in that case.
DSP Osifo said the woman was immediately remanded in prison custody. Ikmamusa Ugiagbe reporting.
And the strike by resident doctors at UBTH has continued to take its toll on medical services in the hospital. Wellington Akadaja reports that patients and their relatives decry lack of adequate access to medical services occasioned by the strike.
The strike by resident doctors is taking its toll on medical services at UBTH as sections and lobbies, which were usually crowded with the influx of patients, relatives and workers of the hospital, is now a shadow of itself, obviously occasioned by the strike by resident doctors. Some patients and relatives who commented on the industrial action by resident doctors said it is having adverse effects on them, following alleged inadequate manpower to meet their health demand, and called on the management of the hospital to, as a matter of public importance, resolve the pending issue to enable the striking doctors go back to work.
They affect people now. Doctor not there of hospital. I feel bad now. My pikin deliver for them now. No doctor for them. I want make they call resume work now. Make that they help our people now.
They suffer for here. Oh. Anyhow what they go do, I made them do am. Make them come their back. I take God beg them. I beg or no, I beg.
My pikin dey inside here since 3 weeks now. Don't dey here now. Make they beg. Make they call them. Make they come attend to our baby. I beg. We suffer born now. 9 months, you know, easy. Make they carry belle for 9 months. My pikin dey there. But make they call the strike. I beg.
were contacted, the President Association of Resident Doctors of the hospital, Dr. Omorugbe Owen Stephen, who spoke off camera, said fruitful deliberation between the association and management was ongoing, stressing that until the association sees reasonable commitment from management, the strike will continue. Confirming the fruitful deliberation, the Deputy Chairman Medical Advisory Committee of the hospital, Dr. Darlington Obaseki, said management is deeply worried about the plight of resident doctors. Dr. Obaseki said management has met on the issue with a view to resolving some of the issues raised by the doctors, which he said are fundamental to their operations.
Dramatic shortfall in our revenue coming to the hospital for a while now, and that naturally will reflect in all this. But be that as it may, like I said, we had a very productive meeting with the resident doctors yesterday, with their ESCO, and we are very optimistic. Before the end of the week, we need to call off the strike.
Last week, Association of Resident Doctors, UBTH branch, went on an indefinite strike over issues bordering on their welfare. Wellington Kodeja reporting.
And that's the size of our package tonight. Many thanks for watching. But just before we go, do remember Lassa fever is real. And so play your part, ensure your environment is clean and rodent-free in order not to fall victim. That's how we wrap up the news. Don't forget to join us tomorrow morning at 7:30 for the AM news. I am Ugochukwu Bamidele. The weather updates for tomorrow, Thursday, 19th February 2016. Comes your way in a short while. To stay tuned.